Hi everyone. Today we are here to discuss about bot development and deployment for MS Teams, for Microsoft Teams. So we just do the basic bot development and deploy that to use in Microsoft Teams. So as part of this, first we need to do the app registration in Azure Active Directory, and then we need to create the app service and bot channel registration in Azure resource group, and then deploy our code. And the latest step is to create the manifest file in Microsoft Teams. So as part of this, first step is to create the app registration active directory. So for that, I'm searching for app registrations. So just open the app registrations, and you can do the new registration using this step, new registration. You can give any name for your app registration. So for example, I'm doing bot demo, and here I need to choose the second option, accounts in any organizational directory, multi-tenant. The reason for using the multi-tenant, because we are using the bot framework. Whatever the token we generate for bot security, right? That actually stores in token.botframework.com website. So to make use of that token, and to that website is also will treat as a separate tenant. So to make bot works, we need to select the multi-tenant because of that reason. So I selected this reason. You can keep this one redirect URI empty while creating it, and click on register. So once the registration is created, it is showing the success message here. And here you will see the client ID, this application client ID. This is actually referred as a Microsoft app ID as well. So save these values into Notepad, because we need to refer these values in further steps. So for example, client ID, this one, and you also need to refer the tenant ID. So tenant ID here, and after that you need to navigate to authentication section. Here actually you need to add redirect URI as a token.botframework.com. The reason is, whenever it authenticates actually, right? So it redirects the token to this one. So you can click on add a platform web and enter your this token. This is the static for any bots you can use. Token.bot framework. Now this is the default one. So I select access tokens, ID tokens, and configure it here, so that that will be saved here. So and the selected access token, ID token option will be displayed here, and whatever the option we select at the time of creating multi-tenant option, right? So that will be shown here. And then you need to navigate to certificates and secret. You can upload certificate as well as you can create the client secret. So I choose the option to go with the client secret. So I'm just creating app secret here. This is like a password for that particular app registration. So I'm just creating the app secret, and that value will be shown here. Before navigating from this page, you need to copy this value to your local notepad. The reason is, if you know, go back and come back to the same screen, you will not be able to see that value. It will not show the complete value of that client secret. So that's the reason I'm just copying those values into notepad. So, and API permissions, this is the user read by default. It gives this option. You don't need to make any changes. If you want to use any graph API permissions in your bot, then you actually need to add those permissions here, and no changes in expose and API, any other settings. Though, so we are done with Azure Active Directory app registration, and we saved this client ID, client secret, and tenant ID into our notepad. So now let's go back to create one resource group, and then create an app service and bot channel registration. These are required to deploy our code. For example, if I'm going to, this is one resource group which I just created for this demo. So I'm adding one app service in this one. So app service means web app. You can add it here. So let me just create an web app, and this is the subscription, and resource group is my bot demo, and Suba bot demo one. Like, this is a app service I'm giving, so it should be the unique in entire Azure. So I selected my value here, Suba bot demo one, and publish code and runtime stack. I'm actually deploying .NET Core 3.1 version of code. So I'm selecting .NET Core 3.1 as a runtime stack so that this app service will be created with this runtime stack. And I'm selecting operating system window, region. Maybe I select East US. It's based on your preferences. And then I'm just keeping the default Windows plan size, everything. So you can just go to monitoring, enable application insights, and you can create application insights related settings. You can just keep that one. And then in the review and create, it actually validates the values, whatever we created, and then we create that web app. So let it go. So validation is passed. So I'm just clicking on create. So this actually creates a web app, and then we deploy our code into this web app. But to write the code, right, I'm actually not going to write any code, anything in this session, but actually I downloaded one GitHub C#.NET Core uh, project from GitHub site. I downloaded the code, and I will publish that code into this particular website. So it's just download the code and publishing it. You can make changes. It is having a lot of examples uh, to use and to take as a base to start our bot development. So let's wait to finish this web app creation. The deployment is completed. So I'm just clicking on go to resource. So sorry. So here we can just download or get published profile so that we can take this profile uh, to uh, to publish our code. So let me just take because I just need to take this code into my VM, so I cannot copy directly right away. So I'm just sending through email. So these activities you don't need. So I'm just stopping share screen share for now. So I'm just downloaded a published profile of the app service, right? So I actually need to use this published profile to publish. So we need to download the profile. So I just downloaded the published profile into my virtual machine. So this is the actual app service related published profile. So before going to deploying our code, so let me come back to Azure portal. So here is the app service which I created, right? So here I also need to create one bot channel registration. So for that purpose, I'm just going back to my resource group again, and I will click on add. So here I will say bot channel registration. So I'm just creating that bot channel registration. And for example, the bot handle Suba bot sample. I cannot give the spaces. So I'm just giving the bot handle name as it's like a short name. So you keep this name as proper name for your bot. Of course, you can make changes to this name later as well. But these names will be used in your bot display. So you need to give the correct name here. And the resource group, I'm giving the same thing, location same, message endpoint. I need to give this message endpoint as the app service URL. For example, let me just go back to cancel. Okay, I will keep empty for now, but we can update this value later. So I'm keeping application insights on and insights location on. So, but here in the Microsoft App ID password, right? So here I can give the app ID whatever it is created. So initial step we created client ID and client secret, right? So the same values we need to use those values here. Microsoft App ID means client ID, and a Microsoft app password means it's actually client secret. So I'm just giving those values here and clicking on OK, so that this bot channel registration will use these values. So I'm enter the values, right? So I just click on create to complete the bot channel registration. So let it complete the bot channel registration. So it is still going on, deployment in progress. You can just see the progress here by clicking on it. So the deployment completed. So clicking on go to resource, you will navigate to that bot channel registration. So here, right, you can see the settings here. So this is the name which you gave in the registration step. And here is the messaging endpoint we need to give, and it also shows that Microsoft App ID whatever we keep. So I'm just going back to my resource book, and I'm taking this app service because I need to copy this URL value into bot channel registration. So it is not reflecting here yet. So refresh it, bot sample, under settings. You just need to update this messaging endpoint as a slash API slash messages. So this is the default one when you are creating that bot API. So I will go to code, but this is the API we need to give, and clicking on save so that it will save those details. So these details are saved. So and then you need to go to channels. In this channels tab, right? Actually, you need to add Microsoft Teams. By default, only the web chat will be added, but you also need to add Microsoft Teams. Then only bot will work in Microsoft Teams. So I'm just selecting default. We don't need to change anything because we are not adding any calling features or anything, right? So I'm just keeping the Teams commercial common one and clicking on save. I agree to the terms and conditions. Agreed. So that bot channel registration step is completed here. Yeah, it's saved. So if you go back to channels, right, it will be channels. Okay, I didn't submit anything now, so I'm just going back. But in the channels, it is shown this Microsoft Teams. So and health is also running. Okay. Now the next step is to go to Visual Studio and deploy our code, our code part. So this is actually my published profile. Here I save. and this is my solution. So this is the actual solution which I downloaded from GitHub. So I'm taking that welcome user particular project to publish it. It just sends a welcome message in the bot. So I'm just right click on it and publish, so that it prompts to import the profile, and then browse selected. So I'm clicking on finish. So it's just importing this publish profile, so that this .NET Core related project we are publishing it to app service. So it is still showing waiting. And then you can publish the code, but before going to that, you can also go to app settings. Here in the app settings, you need to give this Microsoft app ID and password. So it's again the same thing, client ID and client secret. So I'm just passing those values. So I just save this one app settings and publish it. So this actually publishing this project into app service. So let's complete that. So the bot is ready. We deployed our code and bot deployment is completed. So it actually gives that URL if it is localhost, and if it is the superbot demo one, right? So we gave that URL in the app registration. So bot channel registration. So the deployment is completed. So now let's go to the Microsoft Teams and then create our manifest file to use the app in Microsoft Teams. So I just need to go to App Studio. If it is not added, I will just add that App Studio here now. And in the App Studio, you just navigate to this manifest editor. Here we actually create the manifest using the interface itself. So for example, create new app. For example, short demo, super demo bot. I'm just giving some other values here. In the full name you can give, and you can generate the ID for your bot, and you need to give a package name for your bot. It will be like this format, but you actually don't need to give the same values here, and you can give your manifest. A manifest means actually this is the app to create in Teams. So here you can maintain your version name here, and short description. I'm just giving the same thing, and developer Suba. You can give your company name and your website name. I'm just giving my blog URL here. Okay. And you don't need to give any partner information here, but you can give privacy statement on terms of use. Usually you can give your company website URL also here. And if you want to use some icons for your bot, you can update these two icons which should be in these sizes. Then these icons will be used for your bot. Here I'm giving the default one. And now I'm going to bots. Here these tabs, connectors, this is for different modules. So for now we are going to bot. Here under the setup, I will select this existing bot option. Maybe if I can, if select from one of the existing bots. So this is the bot which I already created, right? So I can select that one. Otherwise, you can give your enter your ID and configure it. So it is as it is populating for me. I'm just selecting that. Otherwise, you can use this option. And I will use this personal option because I am created this bot for personal scope only. If it is for group chat or team, you can need to select these options. And you need to give different properties, whether your bot should support downloading files, uploading files, or it only for one-way communication. You can select these properties. So I'm just saving this one. So my bot details are saved now. And let me go to domains and permissions. Here you can give your domains to make sure everything works properly. So I will say ms team super dot blog. Selecting that one here, and I will add this web service URL also, app service URL also into the valid domains to make sure it will not throw any errors. Because of that, we don't need https/ here. So I'm just adding that under valid domains. So once the valid domains is completed, right, we can add any app IDs or any resource specific content. Here we don't need those steps. So I'm just going ahead with the app manifest preview. Here you can see actually whatever values we enter in above steps, you can see those values here. Developer information, and these are the icon names, these are the short name, description, and whatever the bot ID you entered, and whether it is a person scope or team scope, and whatever the properties it is showing in interface, everything will be a property in this JSON format, and it is added to valid domains here, whatever the values we enter. So now I'm selecting test and distribute. You don't have permissions to add Subabot to this team. So I don't have permission, it seems, but I can download this one. Successfully exported the package. And then if you go to apps, usually you will see upload custom app option as well. For example, upload for MS Team Suba. Our direct tenant itself. I'm like, it's not like I can install myself, but I can upload the bot for entire organization. So this is the bot which was installed here. So here I can add bot to myself. So I'm just clicking on add. So the bot is installed now. So these are the overall steps you need to follow. And you see here, I just published the code for welcome message. So once the bot is installed for me, any user, even if you install for entire organization users, right? So bot will get installed and it will send the welcome message. So if you go back to your solution, this welcome user bot message, actually it is there in, these are the messages on members added method. These are the messages were sent using that. That's the reason you are able to see all these messages as a welcome message. So this is the overall process to deploy simple bot into Microsoft Teams. So overall, to recap our whole scenario, uh, total these are the steps. First, we need to go for app registration, create the app registration Azure Active Directory with these configurations, and then come to Azure portal, create one resource group, deploy app service, create bot channel registration, add channels into this bot channel registration, and deploy your code. That's part of deployment. And then once it is done, you come back to your Microsoft Teams App Studio and go to Manifest Editor, create your app here to use it in Teams. So you create this manifest here and upload into your uh, tenant using this apps upload custom app upload for your, this is the tenant name actually. You can upload here. If you want to upload for you only, you can upload even that one using the different permissions. And once it is deployed, you can just search, you can even search for that bot here. So this is the bot which I just created. So you can search here and you can use this bot. So this is the overall process to develop and deployment of bot. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for watching this video.